Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another masterclass of Franchisee X Scale Your Future, brought to you by LiveMint in association with 100X Growth Partners by Expertrons. In this episode, we are tackling one of the most important questions for any founder. Is my business franchisee ready? India's franchising industry is projected to touch 140 billion by 2027. Yet very few SMEs and startups explore it as a growth model. Why, you would wonder? Because franchising isn't just about legal agreements, it's about building systems that scale. And to help us decode this, I am joined by two experts. Gopal Sharma, Chief Operating Officer at PhysicsWallah, who has built and scaled ventures across online, offline, and hybrid education models. And Jatin Solanki, co-founder of Expertrons and 100X Growth Partners, the world's first growth accelerator for offline expansion of brands. He's an IIT Bombay alumni, and he has built and existed ventures to public listed entities, which is 100x Growth Partners, and helps businesses scale to 100 plus outlets, raise growth capital, and even prepare for IPOs. But before we dive into the discussion, I want to inform you all of two very interesting propositions. One, there is going to be an interactive session at the end of the discussion. So please prepare your questions and grab this opportunity to ask. And if you are a founder doing over 5 crores AAR and serious about scaling 100x, raising growth capital, and preparing for a strategic exit, 100x Growth Partners is offering a free accelerator consultation with Jatin and his co founder Vivek. Together, they have built 300 plus franchisee networks and exited ventures to listed entities. So they are more than perfect for helping you grow 100x. So welcome Gopal and welcome Jatin. Very, very happy to have you here. Our audience is looking forward to a very exciting, engaging and insightful conversation. My first question is to Gopal. You've had more than a decade, 13 plus years of experience now, and have had the pleasure of guiding companies. But what's the first thing you look for when assessing if a business can be franchised?
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for this opportunity and hello, everyone, all the participants. Now, I'll give the specific examples of how it happened in PW. I'll try to correlate and answering your question. All right. So when you want to franchise your business, the first key element which we need to take care of is your own IP, your own DNA. What is the core part of your business, which should remain intact with you, or which we should, or you as a business should need to make sure that it reflects the same in the franchisee business as well. Right? In PW's case, it was the education or faculties in that case. Then comes the other aspect, which is your SOPs or processes or rules. How will you make sure that the same experience which you have in your own business gets reflected into the franchisee? Right? And for that comes all the SOPs and processes and audits and rules, playbooks, and so and so. All right. Then comes the next part, which is the what is the buy-in or the stake of the franchisee owner. Right? So let me give you an example for PW franchising. We used to onboard only those people for our franchising who have been a teacher, so that the entire atmosphere of our franchisee center, which we call Pathshala Center, remains intact. It should be education centric, right? So you need to understand who is the partner you are planning to onboard. Is he aligned with your vision? Does he have the same expertise which you need? And then what is his skin in the game? What are his profitability? So this is also one very good learning we realized, that the partner should also be making some good return out of the investment, right? So it is important to understand from their perspective as well, right? So these are the broader angles which we need to consider before we want to franchise our business.
Jatin, what is your take on it? Could you just enlighten about what do you think?
No, first of all, thanks, Shivani, for inviting us for this, and thanks, Gopal, for being part of this. And of course, I mean, what Gopal has said is very right. I mean, it is very important to profile what kind of partners you want to create, because franchising is, as a concept itself, is actually something which will help you scale your business. But then it is very important because it's a two-edged sword. You have to be very careful in which kind of partners you want to select. Like in case of Gopal, in case of PW, they were very sure that they want to create partners who are already teachers, who bring that ethos of education into their Pathshala centers. So that's very critical to know which kind of partners will be the right partners for us to be successful, because it is not only about kind of giving out franchisee, but it is about creating a sustainable business. And if you have to create a sustainable business, partners win is equally essential, and partners win will happen if their profile is very suitable to making your center successful. And that's where PW, of course, have beautifully identified that which kind of partners they want to go ahead with. So one is, of course, the I mean, the right profile and right kind of partners. More importantly, these partners are like micro entrepreneurs. Like Gopal, of course, if he runs a center, he'll run it successfully. But then Gopal cannot be everywhere in thousand centers of his. And what Gopal is looking for is he's looking for micro entrepreneurs, or if I am franchising, I'm looking for mini Jatins everywhere who have the same passion as me for my business, and who is wanting to run it in their respective city. So they may be in Raipur, they may be in Kochi, they may be in Patna, they may be in Coimbatore, but then I'm looking for someone who is equally passionate, who is waking up the next morning and thinking about my business as of their own. Like they are thinking, yeah, Raj, PW ka kitna revenue hua. So that is something which is very important aspect which you're looking for in a partner. And yes, I mean, if you find, and if you're kind of looking at that, at those right profile of partners, and then providing them with the right support to kind of create a sustainable business. Because if partner wins, you automatically kind of win, because if you're providing the right support, and if you're providing the right SOPs, right processes to kind of make them successful. Because at the end of the day, that becomes very critical. If the SOPs are in place, if the processes are in place, if the support is in place, as Gopal said, some aspect of it is very much protected by the company, that hey, education is core to us and we are going to manage that. But maybe A, B, and C are something which can be outsourced or which can be given to a partner, and that is then given to the partner. That center management, center location, there are ABC things which are given to the partners. And that is very critical to identify that which roles will be given to the partner, which are kind of taken by the company and protected as a core value to the company, so that the experience is same everywhere. So yeah, I mean, these aspects are something which is very important to consider, because it is about creating a sustainable business, and not just about kind of saying that hey, we have expanded to 20 locations. It is more about a sustainable business, because once they join, they need to partner needs to make money, the company needs to make money, and it at the end of the day, it is a business, so it needs to be a sustainable one for each of the stakeholders. Yeah.
Okay. So, Jatin, you did mention briefly that you're looking for partners who are as passionate as you. If I were to step back and look at the founder from the same prism, then many founders would think, I have this, I'm very passionate about my business. I have this amazing idea, and I think it'll do phenomenally well if I, expand. But
Right.
is passion enough? That's the question I'm asking. What really drives successful franchise expansion?
Right, right. No, absolutely, Shivani. I think you've asked a very important question, and I mean, for a founder, every time it is like because it is my venture, it is going to work, and I'm going to create say 1,000 outlets or create 5,000 partners, and I'm going to be successful, and it is going to work. But that is optimism. If you just take a step back and if you look at it from the real lens, it is more important to look at numbers. It is more important to look at product market fit. And for the longest, frankly, in my last 15 years of journey of entrepreneurship, I like for the longest, many of the investors have told about product market fit, and it did not hit me that what exactly is product market fit. And someone really, like one of the other entrepreneurs, actually explained to me very beautifully that product market fit is when it flows like a river. Like you don't have to put much effort in your next thing which you do. And that is very critical, because once you have a product market fit, once you see that hey, the things are working in a non-frictional way, then you know that hey, SOPs can be like, the SOPs are in place, things are working, customers are coming, they are liking your product. Once all these things are in place, that's when you create a replicable model. Before that, what will happen is you're going to burn your money in your own center, and then you're going to create a partner is going to burn their money in their center, or they are going to partner is also going to equally struggle. And it is not only, so I'm not only talking from a franchise lens, but this is about creating partners, because partners can own an offline center, partner can be someone who is just getting you admissions, partner can be someone who is getting you sales. So partner can be anyone who is partnering with you and helping you expand your business in a different geography. But it is important for you to have a certain success in your own geography. So say example, I'm operating out of Mumbai, and if I'm able to run it successfully in Mumbai, then it is, then I can actually with confidence ask a partner in Coimbatore that hey, just close your eyes, follow these SOPs. I've done it. I've done all the 99 ways that it doesn't work with, and this one way I've found that it works with, and you need to follow this one step. Ye SOP follow karna, and you're going to get the success. That is one aspect which is very critical. Many times founders don't realize that the importance of product market fit. For the longest, even me, my co-founder, we did not realize what is product market fit. But then when we realized it in our business, when we started seeing that when there was product market fit, we saw that hey, things are working without much effort, without much friction. And that's, I feel, a very critical stage for a founder to realize that hey, I have cracked the code, and now I can replicate the code. Now I can replicate the success. Yeah.
Thank you, Jatin. That was really very nicely explained. Gopal, what Jatin has said, I would say, is very a very good theory. But could you tell us an example from your own experience at PhysicsWallah, how the journey from the founder to the expansion, in very brief, if you could explain?
Yeah. All right. So, of course, franchisee generally happens in an offline kind of a medium when you want to go offline. All right. So, we started our offline division in 2021. We had around I think we started with 15 to 18 centers of our own, self-operated. And then, of course, we wanted to play with the concept of franchising. So, we started with two centers in franchising mode. Right. So initial deal was that for at least for the initial first year, we will do the whole of this on a pilot basis, so that we learn the things, we understand the concepts, we understand how the franchisee things work, and so on. So we were also very new in the things. Right. Now, just to give you again an idea of how PW offline system works. All right. So majorly we have two type of offline systems. One is where the teacher is present in the classroom, which in our language we call it Vidyapeeths, all right, where the teacher is in the classroom. All right. Generally, we open these centers where we have a decent student population there. Right? Then some tier 3, tier 4 cities where there is not enough students, right? So then we cannot get so many teachers there, right? So in those centers, we run our hybrid kind of a system where the teacher is not present in the classroom. Teacher is taking the live class from a studio somewhere, and then that class is being broadcasted to these centers. All right. Now, out of these two systems, teacher in the classroom, teacher not in the classroom, but taking class from the central, from a studio, we franchise only the hybrid system, only this one, not this one. Right. And because in this system, teacher is with me, which is the core part. Right. So the core DNA, the core IP of my system is with me only. So I franchise only this part. We started very small, one or two centers. It worked decently well. Of course, we experimented with a lot of things, and then we realized, okay, these are the four levers which work across all the centers. So for a franchisee, next year when we started onboarding the franchisee, we started explaining them what all things they need to do to get the traction. Then we developed our entire SOPs were in place. We developed our audit teams, which will make sure by visiting all these centers regularly that these processes, SOPs are being followed or not. All right. In education, as I said, teacher is one very important aspect, which was in our control centrally. Then second important part is content. Right. Content means the practice sheet, what students get, the modules, the books, and so and so. That was also provided by PW only. right? So two major systems were provided by PW, centrally controlled. Other operations and admission aspect, and so that was controlled by the franchisee. But again, the SOPs and the best practices was being shared by BW centrally, and audits were in place. All right, so this is how the entire system works here. And right now, as of now, I think we have around 50 plus franchisee partners with us.
Wow, very incredible, incredible. Jatin, do
Wow.
you want to, present us with an example where you enabled franchising because you had the right systems in place?
Right, right. No, absolutely. We did that for multiple brands now. Of course, we have worked in the EV space, we have worked in the salon space, we worked in a design school space where they already had 80 centers and they wanted to expand further. And we created like different models for different tier of city and everything for them. But let me give you two quick example. One is an early stage company which was in the fashion retail space, and these were the founders who had formed Being Human with Salman Khan. So काफी they were seasoned founders, अच्छे founders थे and everything, but last 1.5 years they were only online, like they were only doing a sustainable fashion brand online, and revenue was just picking up, and it was only online and offline अभी किया नहीं था, and of course funding मतलब they it was bootstrapped, so they didn't have funding to kind of do offline centers. So our initial suggestion to them was ki initial centers let's do in a franchise invested but company operated model, so that you can run the centers yourself and you can operate it in a good fashion. And for that particular case, very interestingly, in the first month itself, we were able to pick 5 centers, and which would actually go live before Diwali. So that's a good example where we were able to kind of form partners for them in a particular way. And of course, because they were very new, we had to kind of bring in a lot of processes in place to tell them that, hey, SOPs need to be in place, or what would the partner do, what would you do, and if you're operating the center, how would the revenue share be, how the ROI table would be, all of that. So we kind of brought in a lot of those things. In case of this other example where we were actually working with a salon, and we had already helped them expand to 18 centers in the first 3 months. There I mean, the idea was to also make the partners successful, and we said that it is very important that each of these centers are able to do well in terms of business, and that's where we asked them to kind of make a central marketing team, and that's where we kind of helped them develop that process, took the marketing piece out of it, and within the model we incorporated that every center or every franchise partner would kind of dedicate a monthly budget of so much on marketing, and a central team would kind of market it, and we ran that engine for them, so that in each of these 18 centers the appointments were booked by the central team, and that kind of helped them become hugely successful, because each of these centers were able to get appointments booked from a central marketing team, and they had dedicated like a 70,000 on a monthly basis for marketing, which centrally used to go on Meta and used to kind of help them book appointments, and hence each of these centers used to be relatively occupied, and their occupancy rate was high, so their profitability started kicking in, and hence the partners started coming back and asking for more centers. So that was more interesting. Like one of the partners in Lokhandwala came back and said that I need 2 more centers in Mumbai. So that was something which was interesting to kind of create a central process to kind of help the partners, so that and it is very important to know that which part of the process can be outsourced and which cannot be, and which is very essential to the success, because having looked at, of course, different models, there were also salon models where the ownership of the customers would completely fall off on the partner, compared to vis-a-vis this model where we took the marketing piece out and we said, you dedicate a budget, let us do it centrally, and let us try to kind of book appointments, and that kind of started working out, so that helped them kind of make each of their centers successful. Yeah.
I think you have really brought out the aspect of marketing very well, because, a person who is starting a franchisee might not have the budget, might just have budget for the rental and paying staff, but might not have the marketing
Skill.
skills, knowledge, and the budget to, to really make his business flourish. So that's a very excellent point you brought out. Gopal, if you could also, kind of enlighten our audience what kind of efforts do you make or your company makes to help your franchisee partners in terms of
Sure.
marketing?
Yes, yes, yes. So that was also a very good learning. Initially, when we started, we used to think, okay, this is the business partner. He has all the knowledge of running business. We just need to give the SOPs and they will run, right? But then with time, we realized that it is not, it should not be the ideal way of working, right? They are also learning, we are also learning, right? So right now, if I talk about, all right, we for our franchisee partners, they are the part of the systems. Even in our reviews, what we have with our internal teams and so, they are the part there itself, all right? So we don't count them as a separate entity altogether. Okay. Point number one. Point number two, while sharing all these best practices. So it starts from the beginning, from the franchisee onboarding itself. We start the process of initially, well, while onboarding, we will set this expectation, right? That was, we will work as a partner. You have certain skin in the game. We have certain skin in the game. Let's work it out together. All right. So starting from day zero, we have this right expectation, and we share all our regular expertise with them, be it academics, be it revenue related, admissions related, be it operations efficiency, and so and so. All right. So this is how we are, and we keep sharing this knowledge, because every time you will also learn something new, you'll also get some new insights, right? Same thing gets implemented in the franchisee centers also, so that the ROI can be optimized. Right? So this is what it is. All right. We are in regular touch with them. All right. For us, they are a part of our unit. We are in regular touch with them. Regular meetings with all the stakeholders happen on time, or regularly with all the different people, and so this is how kind of connectivity is there, networking is there, people relations are also maintained well. All right. So they become part of a team, and then system works well. Yeah.
Jatin, I have a question for you. I'm an independent salon owner. Vis-a-vis, I'm part of a franchise. And any problem or trouble that I may face as an individual proprietor, vis-a-vis, I'm part of a chain. How does me being part of a chain help me navigate that trouble? Can you Do you have any real examples or anything that you might offer us?
Yeah. So, absolutely. I mean, the more important aspect about running a business is that there are 99 wrong ways to do it and one right way to do it. And as founders, both as of course entrepreneurs, Gopal and me, we both have faced this in our careers, that we would have done all the wrong ways and we would have learned it the hard way कि ये गलत तरीका है, ये गलत तरीका है, ये गलत तरीका है. And as a business owner, if I have to kind of if I am actually running something, or if I am actually starting something, there will be years of investment, be it time investment, be it money investment, which will go behind the wrong ways. And at the end of the day, you will realize that, hey, after 3 years of, say, money investment, time investment, this is the perfect way. And on the fourth year, that individual store may start to see some light and become profitable and do a lot of those things. Vis-a-vis being a part of, say, if I have to start a coaching center and I approach PhysicsWallah, or if I start on my own, so there's two very different approaches which I may take. But then if I go the PhysicsWallah route, they already have an established brand. They have learned, they've done it the hard way. Last so many years, they've already experienced all the wrong ways to do it, and now they have perfected the way to kind of run a center. When will the break even happen, how much money I can make on monthly basis. I can actually talk to a few partners who have already done that. So all these aspects is really important, because that actually uh, I mean, it's essentially like bypassing and reaching success faster, because it may look that PhysicsWallah became successful overnight, but it did not. It took so many years of hard work to kind of reach where it is. And now I can ride on that wave. I can actually approach Gopal and say that, hey, I want to open a center, and I can kind of ride on that wave. And that is something very important to understand, that it's not always about kind of building. It's build versus buy wala jo concept and decision making hoti hai, that is very essential to kind of make sure that there is a wave which is there is already a branding which is done, there is already a method which is cracked, there is already an SOP which is present, and then there is an ecosystem of really brilliant people like Gopal and his team members, who will of course be supporting a partner to kind of become successful in a respective city. Because for a partner, it may be a single city, that he may be a Nagpur partner, but for Gopal and his team and like the entire PhysicsWallah, it is the brand, the entity, the entire legacy which they have built over time. So for them it is about preserving that, and they'll of course support the partner in a way that Nagpur becomes successful, because if Nagpur doesn't become successful, it reflects bad on the brand. So they'll put all their might to make Nagpur successful. So that is the most important aspect, because now the partner is also thinking about his center, and the brand is also putting the might behind it, and then you have higher chance of kind of becoming successful. So surely something to consider upon to kind of fast track your success. So someone who wants to kind of reach a 10 year of learning fast can kind of go a route like this to kind of become successful, ride on a success of a brand to kind of become successful.
Right, right, right. Gopal, do you want to add anything?
I think more or less everything has been already covered, right?
Okay.
Yes, in franchisee business, as I said earlier, the first thing what matters is who you are. What is that thing you would like to keep intact if you want to get into a franchisee-led kind of a business, right? So, what is
Okay.
your DNA which can remain intact, right? Second, who is your partner and how would you like him to behave or work or act? So that is the filtering process of your partners. And then comes the third part, which is how would you do it by placing certain SOPs and rules and regulations and audits and so on. So this is all it is. And then how do you keep relation intact? That is also very important. Yeah.
Right, right. So before we kind of move on to the open forum where our audience will get the chance to ask questions, just one last question I want to ask both of you, very short, crisp answer. We have talked elaborately about how a founder could use certain yardsticks to find a good partner to expand his business. If I were to flip and I'm the one who is looking for a founder with whom I would like to partner, what are the two, three things I would like to see in that partner so that I want to partner with him and become a part of his franchisee?
Yeah. So yeah, so maybe I'll take this one. And of course, I mean, it is very important to kind of look at business owners who are one, of course, who have kind of achieved a product market fit, who have ran the business for a while, who have actually who know their product really well, because all these are like the basics of kind of even before you start to replicate, you need to kind of have these things in place. And then of course there are certain SOPs or systems which can be kind of brought in place to kind of make it replicable, or make it more exponentially growth possible. Because in every business there are different functions, and it is very important to know that which of these functions is critical to kind of do for the founder to do, and do for the partners to kind of pass it to. And that's very important. And of course we look for founders who have kind of achieved that product market fit, who are already at a certain scale, and then of course who are looking to kind of grow and have the same kind of vision. Because we have seen a really good growth in terms of franchising, or in terms of partner model kind of happen in the US. We have seen that happen in China as well. Like this year there is a company which is called Mixu, which went public, and they have like 46,000 centers, and they are selling bubble tea, they are selling coffee, they are selling ice creams. And in each of their 46,000 franchise centers, they provide cups, they provide straws, they provide everything. Their top line is like 20 billion, and their profit is like 4 billion. Their founder became richer than a Starbucks founders. And when we look at stories like these, we are like, okay, this kind of success was already seen in the US market. It has already come in the retail space. It has already come in the China market, and now it is for sure to come in the India market. It's only up to us that are we, all of us on the call, going to form that, or is someone else going to kind of build that venture? And that's something which we at 100x Growth Partners truly believe in, that we are looking for those founders, we are looking for those companies which have that kind of aspiration. Because not every founder will have that aspiration. Not every Some of them are really happy with 4 salons, and they are happy, like this business is running, this is okay, until something comes and crashes down the business. I'm happy with X, and something like that. But then someone who has that aspiration of kind of building business ban jayega, wealth ban jayega, but legacy banana hai, so that is that is what it takes. Like the team is what it takes, the creating partners is what it takes. All of that is, of course, no one is kind of able to kind of achieve that kind of success alone, and that's where this and that's where we kind of try to take some things off the founder's plate, because there are like hundreds of things in founder's plate, and of course expansion is one, but then her center की profitability is other question, investor relation maintain करना, fund raise करना, IPO की तरफ plan करना, all of that is other kind of problems. And what we of course try to do it in our own growth accelerator way is that we kind of try to take some things off the team's plate. That expansion, we take it off your plate. Investment strategy is something which we form with you. Of course, given mine and Vivek's network, we help you kind of connect with the right set of investors. So we do all these things, little things, to make sure that there is more time available to the founders, time available to the team to kind of do or focus on more important things, which may be center level profitability, supporting the partners, pitching to investors, raising funds, doing the right kind of branding, creating a central marketing team, or whatever they want to do for their own business. So yeah, I mean, we of course we are trying to kind of create this YC concept for brands who want to expand offline and kind of help other founders to also kind of do that. So yeah, I mean, that's that. These are the kind of things we look for, of course, in a founder.
Right. What an enlightening conversation that was. I was completely absorbed, and I hope all of you out there were too. And now is the time when your questions actually take center stage, and our experts here are more than happy to answer all your questions. So make sure you flood the chat box with those questions you've been wanting to ask. Um, um, I can see quite a few questions here. Let me just quickly go through. We have Pooja Narang, who is asking that when a founder is thinking about scaling, it can be tough to choose between raising an external funding or going through the fundraising route. How should they decide which path is right for them, and what key factors should they keep in mind while making that choice?
Yeah, I think Gopal, if you want to, or maybe I can.
I think you will be the right person. Yeah, you should take
Okay.
it.
Okay. I think Pooja, thanks, and really good question. I would just sometimes some founders don't even have a choice because funding in some kind of businesses is also difficult at an early stage. When you're kind of starting a cafe or when you're kind of doing a preschool business and you just have one or two or three centers, at that point to kind of raise funds also becomes challenging. Also, it depends on a lot of numbers, how your metrics are going, how was your year on year growth, how is the bottom line, how is PAT, EBITDA performance for you, and also the founder's profile, like how is your profile, because depending on all of these factors is what you will be offered a multiple on. Many times at really early stage, revenue is also little, so revenue multiples will also be little, and hence you kind of start, I mean, you may end up giving out a lot of equity, so that is there. So initially, of course, the idea should be building your own venture, getting it to a certain revenue, because giving any time to either franchising or funding doesn't make sense at a very early stage. When you're kind of 20 lakh, 30 lakh, 50 lakh in terms of your business, that is the time to kind of put your head down and work to make sure that each of your center is profitable and is kind of performing better. uh, Franchising as a route or creating partners as a route should be looked at after you achieve a certain product market fit. And fundraising, I would say, is something very and as founders we have gone through that journey, and we know that when you need the money, when you have little runway, and when you go out to ask fund, you'll never get funds. When you don't need it, when your business is doing good, when everything is going EBITDA positive, everything is well, that is the time an investor would want to write you a check. So it is important, first put your head down, start working, make sure that each center level profitability is coming, you're kind of doing well in a certain kind of businesses. You scale it in a certain way that you're very confident about key, okay, now I've done say 5 centers, 10 centers, and I know that there is a product market fit. I can kind of scale it via franchising. So that helps you kind of bring in smaller capital rather than say diluting your equity. so that is the right stage to kind of do franchising, and that's what we did for this EV company. There they took like 5 years to reach 7,000 bikes of like EV bike rentals. In the first 3 months, we created like 20 partners for them. There was 4.5 crores of investment from partners to open up these 20 locations. And in the last 5 months, they grew from 7,000 bike to 11,000 bikes. And that's these numbers were really interesting to external investor. That is the stage when we, of course, approached external investors, and we were kind of, the interest from the investors also came in, because the investors saw that, hey, without me writing a check, also this founder is going to become successful. So let me write a check and let my money ride on that wave. And that's when they were able to close a 45 crores round. So I mean, there is, of course, these are like the steps. Like, first is putting your head down and working. Second is, when you have a product market fit, then kind of get raising smaller capital from franchising to kind of expand yourself, and of course doing it in the right way so that they build business, you are successful, there's a sustainable business. And the third step is, when all of this is going perfect, when you feel that you don't need funds, that is the right time to raise funds, because then is when the interest of investors will come in, and you will be able to kind of successfully raise funds. So that's my steps to kind of how you could go about it.
Interesting thought there. Raise funds when you don't actually need them. We have a very interesting question from Rohan. He asks, do you think a business built through franchising can ever carry the same legacy and emotional connection as one built company owned, or is there always a trade off?
uh
I think I think
yeah,
I'll,
I
I'll
think,
take this. I'll take
yeah,
this.
yeah,
Yeah,
Gopal,
yeah.
sure.
Yes, Gopal, please.
Yes, yes, yes.
And-
So yes, actually, in our case, in PW's case, this was actually a very critical question we also asked initially when we wanted to start the franchising thing. All right. So Rohan, in this case, what matters, as I emphasized, the first piece is what is your product, what is your DNA, what is the your core which will remain intact, even if you go through via franchising mode or your own business mode, right? If you want to go via franchising mode, what is your DNA which will remain intact? As I said, our DNA was, our core was education. The education, the academic experience should remain intact, right? And this is where we decided that we will only franchise the hybrid aspect, as I explained earlier, not the Vidyapit, the offline aspect, but only the hybrid aspect where the teacher was my only, right? So if you have that thing in your, if you have that clarity in your mind that my DNA will remain intact, then anyways this will not be a bigger question. But still, so if you look at it from the franchisee perspective, all right, that is the person who is a businessman kind of a person, right? He would always want to optimize for the best ROI, highest profitability, right? But and this is where actually the problem starts. He will try to optimize on the profitability aspect, but you would like the experience or the quality or the delivery to be at the most, right? And then there will be a trade-off, right? Now, how do you solve this issue? Is first, even while selecting the partner itself, you only partner with the right person which has the right vision, the same vision what you have, which has the same experience what you need, and which has attention to detail, that a complete holistic understanding of on ground operations or on ground things of your business, of the kind of business you are running, right? Then these things can be avoided to a huge extent while onboarding itself, right? And after that, once the engagement starts, once the franchisee things start working on, then it is all about the regular connects, the regular audits, the regular reviews, and setting the right expectation, meeting them regularly, considering them as a part only, right? If you talk to them just as a your profit maker entity, then they will not be aligned. But if you consider them as a part, as a team, as a unit, then of course they would also like to get your experience, your benefits from you, and you will benefit from them. Alright, so these are the few things which we should always take care of, while onboarding franchisee or while running the franchisee operations. Otherwise, yes, what you are suggesting, it might become an issue. There might be some challenges.
Gopal has touched upon the answer, which is to our next question, which is again Karan Bhatia. He is specifically asking Jatin, in your view, is franchising more about building systems or about building people? Which one truly determines whether the model succeeds?
I think Good question, and of course, it is not only one or the other, and of course, you can see that in Gopal's answer as well. Like throughout, he has been saying that uh, these partners are part of our ecosystem, and we have been valuing them. We have because that is what at the end of the day it is about people. Of course, systems need to be in place, but relationship building, making sure that they are able to understand these processes, they are also learning, they are also getting trained on a certain process. And as Gopal said, that when they started making partners, they realized that they are also learning, the partners are also learning, and it was very important to kind of maintain that relation and kind of pass these systems to these people, because uh, it should not be a transactional thing. It is, because it is never a transactional thing, because when it is more about the vision, more about what you're trying to solve, and if these partners are actually part of that vision, that's when everything kind of starts falling in place. Because when times are bad, when things are wrong, that's when that's when these relations will come to place. That's when this vision would, that hey, we are doing it to kind of solve a larger thing, and that times are going to get wrong, times are going to get bad, things are going to be like, if there are like 100 problems which are going to come, they are going to come. So there is and we have to kind of walk through all of them to kind of make sure that that there is a success which is there for the partner, that there is a success which is there for the company, for the brand. And hence there's no single answer that only systems will work, because systems will work if everything is good. Then of course systems will work. Then you can have 100 admissions, 1,000 admissions, and still it won't break, the systems won't break. But then when the times are bad, that's when you need people, you need the right character, you need the right relationship, you need people in place. So both of course goes hand in hand, and it is important to kind of choose that right kind of partner, which Gopal rightly mentioned in his previous answer as well, and throughout the conversation. Yeah.
We have a very pointed, focused question from Jaideep Hingane. He is asking specifically about the payback period, ROI. How many months would typically be required for a franchisor to get his investment back?
Gopal, do you want to take this, or should I give a generic view?
I believe you should take this because he is talking about silver jewelry, which I have no expertise in.
No. Frankly, we have of course worked in retail, but not specifically in a silver jewelry line. But I would kind of paint a overall picture, Jadip, for you. A partner is exactly someone like you. मतलब आपके और मेरे जैसा ही person है in a tier 2 city. And what they are looking for, they are actually looking for a matlab, for a tier 2 tier 3 city person, someone who wants to earn more than say 50,000 a month. उनके पास ज्यादा ऑप्शन नहीं है, and what they want to do is they want to associate with a good brand, they want to associate with a good founder, and they want to, on a monthly basis, they want to do like a like say a 3 lakh 2 lakh kind of returns for themselves. And that's when this kind of comes into picture, that they want to partner with brands to kind of do that. For any partner, of course, they would want the break even point to be anywhere say between 10 to 14 months. They would like to, for that to happen. They would want that monthly earning should be in that 2 lakh 3 lakh kind of range, but it will depend on business to business. In your case, in case of a silver jewelry, of course there is a lot of capex which will go in. There is of course the store, and there is a lot of inventory which will go in into the business. But then depends on, is the inventory kind of supplied by like to the partner on a deposit, or they have to put down the money, or how you're kind of placing all of that, because that will determine your ROI table, and that will make sure that where the break even point is and how much they are able to earn on a monthly basis. And I mean, it is, there's no correct answer to what needs to be a typical number. You should actually look at your, of course, your competitors and how they have built it. How are their payback periods and everything? If someone is offering better than you, then of course anyone, it will be no brainer for any partner to go for their franchisee than yours. So that is a very easy benchmark you can kind of look up to, because if the industry is offering say 15 months of break even, and you are doing like 18 months of break even, then you are doing something wrong. So you of course need to work on your margins. You have to maybe get from the wholesalers, or like whatever way you want to, or maybe they own the manufacturing and you don't. So there are some of these important top-down approach which you need to kind of put in the business to get the right answer. There's no, and of course the other thing is, of course, when you start interacting with these partners, you'll start getting to know, because anyone who has a money to invest, who is actually say investing 70 lakh or a crore in kind of establishing your silver business center, they would have different opportunities to invest. They could maybe do a nail salon business, they could maybe do a preschool business, or they can very well open a PhysicsWallah center. So for them, it is more about ki business running mein mera ROI kaisa rahega, and that is very critical answer. So look at your competitors, and two is of course look at it from their standpoint, from their shoes. कि अगर वो invest कर रहे हैं, they'll have 4 different options. How are you the best option for them? Yeah.
Thank you. One last question I think we have time for, and we have talked about a lot of do's in the whole discussion. This is a question about don'ts. Is franchising always the best way to scale in India, or are there industries where it doesn't make sense? And if a founder wants to go global, how should they think about franchising? So, Gopal, you want to give a go first?
Yeah, so like personally, whatever I have learned so far in my life, there is nothing like the best way or the worst way in business. Right? It is always a journey of learning. You learn throughout the journey, and then you realize this is a better way of doing things. All right. So franchisee is better for those businesses where the IP it can be centralized or can remain with the central authority or the core business or the founder, if I say. Correct. If that can be centralized, then franchising is a better option. If SOPs or automation can be done, then franchise is a better option. But if system is not that, or if the business or the idea is not that way, if the system depends on a lot of decentralization, multiple inputs and multiple output, then possibly franchisee will not be the right way, right? Like as I said, in our Vidyapit division where the teacher is present in the classroom, we don't franchise that part, right? Because the teacher is there. Now how would I ensure that the franchisee partner is onboarding the same kind of teacher with the same expertise as I want? Because he would like to optimize his own earning his own profits, right? So this is why we don't franchise this part, the Vidyapit part. We only franchise the Pathshala part where the teacher is centralized, right? So this is how you decide based on your business, based on your theory, based on your thought process. Yeah. So that's my stand on this.
Great. Jatin, your final thoughts
No,
on
I
this?
think Gopal has covered it in a very beautiful way, because if you as a brand don't have control over certain things, what is going to end up happening is the person is only going to remove the board and is going to change it to their own name, and the franchising doesn't make sense, because you have say open 10 centers, and all the 10 centers are now running independently. They are not buying coffee from you, or they are not, I mean, because now they've learned so there needs to be certain central control in case of those. Like example, I gave the example of the salon which I was talking about. Now, because we brought marketing to a central team, now each of these partners are really dependent on they are actually dependent on the brand, because now the brand is actually helping them with certain kind of marketing, and they don't have that expertise, and hence there is a very good symbiotic relation between the partner and the brand, because there is enough support also provided. That needs to happen, because at the end of the day, partners are going to optimize for their profit, and they'll look at the royalty, or they'll look at the product sales, and they're going to say that, hey, मैं ये क्यों दे रहा हूँ? Why am I paying this, and can I kind of bring it in house? And that's where you have to be very conscious of the fact that what kind of support are you providing? Are you actually adding value to kind of charge or command that royalty, command that brand value and everything? And that's those are the kind of businesses where you would of course want to franchise, and where you would want to. And it's not only about franchising. As I said, we have done this for businesses which are not offline, because franchising usually is looked at as a term which is for only expanding for your centers or everything. But then we worked with, so of course, like our own brands, between me and my co-founder, we ourselves have ran companies where we had online brands, and it was essentially like a reseller kind of partner, and there also we were able to form successful partners. And now in the very recent time, there was this AI based communication app for interview preparation. For that particular brand, they were working with 20 colleges, and they were also working with IIT Delhi as one of their clients, and they wanted to create partners who would go to colleges and who would crack colleges for them. and we were able to create successful partners for them. We were able to find partners in, say, Raipur, in Patna, in Jhansi, in Coimbatore, so that they can actually go to colleges and they can kind of do the same deal which they have done with colleges themselves. I mean, it is of course very important to kind of create a partner network, create hacks to kind of grow your business. So it is, you should look at it from that lens rather than like where your customer is, and can you find a hack that that can kind of help you kind of grow your business, be it locally, be it globally. To your point, how you asked the question. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. I think the biggest takeaway from today's discussion is that franchising isn't a growth hack, it is a strategy. And founders need clarity on brand DNA, SOPs, ROI, logic, and the training systems, of course. Once again, for my audience, if you are a founder doing over 4 crore ARR and serious about scaling 100x, raising growth capital, and preparing a strategic exit, you know whom to contact. 100x Growth Partners, because they are offering a free accelerator consultation with Jatin and his co-founder Vivek, because together they have built 300 plus franchisee networks and exited ventures to listed entities. So let's, all of you, sharing the form link to be filled out. Anybody interested, please leave your details. It is being shared right now live. And thank you, Gopal, for sharing your system builder's perspective. And thank you, Jatin, for the franchisee strategist view. And thanks to our audience for tuning into this masterclass. I hope it was engaging, and you took a great number of benefits from this session. So, see you next time in episode 3, where we'll decode franchise funding and financial models and how to attract the right partners and design sustainable growth. Till then, goodbye.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Shivani.
Thanks
Thanks,
again.
Gopal.
All
It
the
was
best.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, Jatin. Thanks, everyone. All the best. Bye bye.
Bye.